Hey everybody, this is the Portable Chicano. It's been a while since I made a video. My last videos were my Second Amendment and firearms. Now, because of medical reasons, I stopped doing them and I actually gave up almost all my firearms, minus a couple. But this video has nothing to do with firearms or Second Amendment. This explains why I haven't been doing anything. As of March of 23, I got some amputations done on my foot. And I had complications ever since. And now I had my leg amputated. I'm on a pin system for the prosthetics. I've had my prosthetic now for a week. Today is Friday. On Monday, I got my new prosthetic leg, which is right there. Yeah, just say it's on a pin system, and I'll show you what it looks like. There we go. I have to be able to line that up with that tiny little hole that's right there, and that locks in my leg. So I could wear the prosthetic and walk around with it. Sometimes it could get a little difficult. You gotta give me time. This is my first week with it. So, it takes a little time. If you hear those little clicks, that's it locking in. You see, it won't come off. I have to push this little button right here for the leg to come out. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Yep, there we go. And see, the leg comes off. It's a trippy thing to do, and it's going to take a little time for me to get used to. I do have to use my wheelchair and my walker. This walker has been a godsend to me ever since I got my amputation done, which was in August. And now we're just, 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving? So it takes a little while. Let me snap in this leg. There we go. There we go. Sometimes it takes about 4 or 5 tries because I don't have that pin straight the way it's supposed to be. So it takes a little time. But yeah, I have to use the walker for now, just to help straighten myself up when I'm walking. This one has been a godsend to me. It's a Lumex, Lumex. It's a hybrid. It's a walker and wheelchair. It's a very sturdy walker wheelchair. And that's the one I use for when I travel in my car. That wheelchair is just a little bit too heavy to be using in the car. I can't lift it, and I don't advise anybody to be trying to lift something like that into your car, whether you got an SUV or just a regular four-door sedan, because it is heavy, and if you can't get it across your lap. You could get into the back of an SUV, but now you got to work your way back over to the front of the SUV, which can be very difficult and challenging. Especially if you're like me, uncoordinated, you can't really hop very much. Your good leg gets really tired really fast. And now I got my prosthetic. Now I could do a lot more things, of course. But the walker, this one, I was able to get the back wheels and fold them up. All they do is unscrew that lug right there and pull the pin out, or the screw out actually, fold the wheel, and then put it back in and lock them in so that way they don't come back on me. On both wheels, it does the same thing. You can see the lug right there. And you can press a little button on the side right here, and it lowers down these to about right here, and it makes it out to be about 1.5 by 1.5 on a total to slide across your front. You could be sitting in the driver's seat and pick it up and slide it across you and put it into the passenger seat, and it's out of the way. And you can use it for like going to the store or whatever. You could readjust the arms if you need to, or you can leave them right where they're at and just fold the legs or the back wheels. The back wheels were the more difficult part of putting it in there. If you don't fold them, sometimes they'll hit the roof of the car, on the interior. So, yeah, just fold those back wheels and that's it. Yeah, it takes a little time to unscrew the lugs, but hey, it's worth it. Especially when you want your own independence. You don't have nobody go with you to the market or whatever, then you take this little guy with you and you could go to the market. Like I go down to the Planet Fitness all the time. I go to the market, all the time. I go a bunch of different places by myself. As long as I got my right leg, the law states as long as you got your right leg, you can still drive. You could drive with your left leg, but you gotta go through I think you gotta go through special courses. And the doctor has to approve you. And my advice too is if you got an amputated leg and you go to get a new prosthetic, fitted, take a new pair of shoes if you can. I got these shoes and I also bought me another pair, just to have, those are my go out shoes, for going out. I want a nice pair of shoes, which these are nice as well, and they're brand new, but I just wanted a second pair. I have not put these on here. I'll even take them out of the bag to show you. They are very nice looking shoes. There we go. And yeah, these are the ones that I'll use, for going out. I'm not really too much into wearing shoes with white, but my granddaughter got them for me, so hey, what the heck. And plus, when I went to go buy these ones, I saw those ones, I tried them on, and those ones fit me just right, and I liked the way they felt and everything. So the other day, she got me them, and she just happened to work at Nike store as well. And, so that was cool. Got them for half the price, which was very nice, because I can't afford these ones at the regular price. But anyways, yeah, starting close to Christmas time, I will be going out on a road trip. I did do one road trip already. I went to Arizona, to a small town out there to go visit some friends. And I stood about 4 days out there. and it's about a 6-hour drive each way, 400 miles. I think it came out to 412 miles each way, so 812 miles or 824 miles round trip that I did. And I did it all just fine. I took both chairs with me. That one was good because where she lives at, she's surrounded by crushed lava rock for her driveway, so it was hard to get around because of that. But that one helped it quite a bit because it got that big wheels in the back. This one we couldn't do nothing with over there at all, because it got some small wheels. And this one has a big back wheel, so she just rolled me on the big back wheel. And by the way, those of you that seen my videos in the past, I've had my wife on there a few times. She just passed away this past March. I dearly miss her. But it was bound to happen. She died of dementia and Parkinson's. That's what she passed away from. And I gotta stick around for my grandkids at least. But anyways, yeah, I'm planning to, if I could hopefully keep money going on my own, maybe twice a month, drive. When I drove semi-trucks, my wife rode with me, and she had her favorite places that I want to revisit. And I bought a mini urn with her ashes in it, and I want to go spread her ashes in those places that she really enjoyed going to and that she loved going to and that she used to always look forward to going to, and she always wanted me to park in those places and stuff like that. So I want to take her ashes and spread them out in those areas, just a tiny bit, but at least it'll leave a little bit of her there in her favorite places. And that's kind of my plan. And I was supposed to start that in May, but a lot of you, I don't think nobody knows, I did get attacked by this crazy person that reopened my wound from my first amputations, and the reopening went all the way down to the bone of my foot and started causing all kinds of infections. And I was getting one infection after another, and of course Nevada won't do nothing to the guy. The courts or the police or the lawyers, nobody. Everybody always tells me I should sue him or I should press charges. I tried pressing charges against him even that day when he attacked me. The cops will not press charges against him. So, that's what we get for having a woke police force and a woke government. I lost faith in our court system and our government and even some of the police. Some of the police were cool. They said that if I would have had my firearm with me, I would have been justified, on using it. Because all I was doing was taking my walker, this one, out of the back of my car. That's all I was doing. And the guy started talking this crap at me and mentioned sexual things about my sister, which pissed me off. And that's when I started talking back. And that's when he came out of his gate and attacked me. But my nephew came out with the wrong weapon of choice and stabbed the guy. And he ended up in jail. But the other guy threw me down on the ground as a elderly handicapped person. He didn't get charged. which Nevada law says that he's supposed to, which he didn't. But that's okay, I guess. Next time it won't happen. But anyways, yeah, for those of you that have a prosthetic, I wish you luck. The place I went through is at Evolve. They were really great. They met me at the doctor's office. The guy told me about their program, gave me my shrink socks, which are right here. You have to wear these at the beginning to shape your leg, your stump, or residual, whatever you want to call it. And you wear this all the time. He gave me a couple of these. I wore it all the time. And it's just a low sock, that's all it is. And it has these little grippy bubbles inside, right up in here, inside the liner. And it helps shape your bottom of your stump, down here to almost a cone. So that way it'll fit into your prosthetic a little bit better and easier, and hopefully help you heal up a little bit. And I saw him about 2 or 3 weeks after I got out of the rehab. I went in for the surgery, had the surgery done, stayed in the hospital for about maybe a week after the surgery, and then went into a rehab. Stood in the rehab for about 2 weeks, almost 3, and they basically helped me do a lot of my endurance things and stuff like that. Make sure that I could do things on my own if needed. And then they released me to my family. And I went about a week, maybe 2 weeks after that. I went in and saw the prosthesis guy with my surgeon. My surgeon looked at my leg, gave me my discharge, from his or hers thing. And then I was going through wound care, and the wound care saw that I was healing up really well. And at first he was taking out just a couple of stitches at a time per week, but then he just decided to take them all out because my leg looked like it was healing up really fast, and he liked the way it looked. So he went ahead and removed them all and gave me his discharge a week later. Then I went in and saw the prosthesis guy. I went to Arizona for that 4 days, and then I went in the week later and saw the prosthesis guy. And he looked at everything again and measured out some parts of my leg and made sure that it was still healing right, and that there was no real big scabs or any loose skin or anything like that. And then he set me up with another appointment a week later. Went back, and that's when he did the measurements and the casting for this leg. And then a week later, he got this done. So with the prosthesis people, I want to say 3 weeks on a total. I had my leg, maybe 4 weeks, but I think it was 3 weeks on a total. He had everything already ready. And I went in and he slipped it on and I started walking around. So I'm very happy with Evolve. They were very good at what they do, fast, they got everything through my insurance right away. I mean, they said that that would be the thing that takes the longest, which actually, that was approved. My insurance was approved before my leg was actually done. They thought that they'd have the leg done before the insurance. Yeah, but no, instead it was the other way around. And even though they had this leg done a lot faster than I thought, because a lot of YouTubers say it takes 6 months to a year, not with my doctor, not with my prosthesis. He had it done a lot sooner, and he did a good job. I'm very happy with what I got, and I do appreciate what they did, and the timing that they did it all in. So, I hope you people that do end up having to get a prosthetic, hope your journeys with your new prosthetic will be as good as mine. And I hope you all take care of yourself and have a good one. Thank you.